I grew up middle class. I'm from Michigan. I grew up middle class. I knew it, you hear that term they teach you in social studies, and I'd be like, "Oh, Dad, are we poor?" And he'd be like, "We're fine!"
Welcome to the Jordan Leer program. It's time for my life story. This is my Mark Maron episode, baby. This is the journey. How did you get to where you are on this rooftop in Koreatown? Well, it's like the cheapest place you can rent and still live by yourself. That's why I live here. I get interviewed by this LA magazine deal that they interview everyone. It's not like this crazy huge deal. It's nice that they ask, whatever, but Voyage LA or whatever. And it got me thinking. I was like, I should just do this in podcast form. It's how did you get to where you were? What were the speed bumps, Did you always dream of wanting to be a dreamer? That bullshit. So here, I don't know. Might as well start at the end. I'm 30. I live in Koreatown. I live by myself. It's nice. Not the Koreatown part. Living by yourself is, though. Man, I'm an actor. Been on TV handful of times. Done a movie, I started my first Meisner class last night. I've took acting class before, but I started my first Meisner one last night. I've done plays. Made a little money off a little bit for small periods of time. I'm a comic. Pretty much only done comedy in LA, I bet there's a bunch of comics that you only ever done in LA. Yeah, what's the fucking difference? I mean, there's a difference, I'm sure. I've performed at all the clubs around here, all of them. There's sirens. That's the part of Koreatown. I don't know if you hear that right now. Just normal. They might be coming for me. They probably think I got a gun up here or some shit. Only in my pants, baby. I'm a comic. Never made anybody off of stand-up, at all. Filmmaker. I've made a bunch of short films. Got in some film festivals. Won an award or two. Just one so far. And also yesterday, I might be losing my agent, getting a new one. It's all good. It was one of those days where it's like, oh shit, times are changing. And yesterday I found out my old manager died, probably 2 nights ago. Fucking sad as fuck. We don't know the cause. We're pretty sure we know the cause. Fuck. Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. I toco la guitarra. I play the guitar. I've played music, little singer-songwriter, all around in LA. All the fucking hip little spots, all the shit. I performed at just hundreds of places, whether stand-up or music, all over LA. It is 2011 right now. So how did this fucking journey start? I grew up in Michigan, the middle of nowhere. Looking back on it, I like to think of it as like the fucking Luke Skywalker story, homie on the farm, dreaming of something bigger in the stars. Gonna go out and make some war. There wasn't much to do, man. I didn't realize that at the time. There's, stuff, this wildlife and nature and shit. And you play sports, I was the all-American kid. I did what you thought I would do. Play the t-ball, the baseball, the football, wrestling, not basketball. I sucked at basketball, I will say. So did a lot of shit. God, man, we didn't have anything interesting to do as far as class-wise. This was a small-ass town. This looks like the Friday Night Lights shit. It's there's no wood shit. There's wood shop. There's no good art shit. I don't know. My freshman year, I will say, there was an acting class. There was it was like forensics, and I was in it. And you went to competitions, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know, I was writing on Moxie mostly, but it's like, you know, the band kid types. They took forensics, and I bet you basically, a lot of times you do like a one-man scene. I did a one-man scene where I told a story and then I acted out the characters. You know, you're doing stand-up with act-outs, I guess. I didn't realize it at the time. I remember literally, I told a story about like how all the animals came to be. And I remember like one of them was like an elephant fell from the sky and someone, you know, sat on his nose, and that's how his trunk, you know, his fucking trunk went out. And I remember my teacher, like, you know, coaching me. Miss Jacobin, I love, you know, she was fucking, that was a cool teacher to have. But, yeah, I remember going to the competitions when I was a freshman, and all the people there were like, you're good, man. It's just like the scene's not long enough. You're not, you know, work some things out. And I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing. It's coming from. But then the class got cut, so that's the end. So I go back to Concussionville and playing football. You know, not even starting, like second string, just getting my head smashed in for second string pussy. Second string pussy. Damn. Sometimes third string pussy. Let's be real. That was cool. I don't know. I don't know why. God, it's just like you spend so much time fucking playing sports, and you're like, we should be doctors with the fucking amount of hours that I dedicated to being the practice dummy for my friends. So I go to Michigan State. I go there for like medical shit because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, real job doctor shit. I was interested, you know, I like science, kind of hard at math. You got to do that. Show up at State, don't like it, hate it. I just hated like chemistry, or maybe it was just like, man, shit was getting hard. Honestly, it wasn't even that. I was like always loved film. I was Mr. fucking performer boy, you know. Like we didn't have much acting going at school, but it's like if you had asked like the 70 people that were in my graduating class, they'd be like, yeah, Jordan was always wanting to be like Mr. Actor guy or some shit, because I was just always fucking off, and I don't know. I like the shit. I got a knack for it. But I show up at State, and I remember I met this dude who was like a film major, and I was like, oh, you can do that? You can like major in like film? That's badass. And then I remember he asked me to come to the studio once and fill in, because they were doing like they're shooting a sketch at like the studio in our Michigan State. They had like these studios, like camera equipment and fucking green screen, white infinity wall screen, whatever. And I was like, this is fucking incredible. And you guys are going to, this is your class? This is your class? You go to this to learn how to make the fucking shit. And they had me like play like the Justin Long character in that old like Mac versus PC commercial. You know, I'm a Mac, I'm the cool guy. Duh, look at me, motherfucker, still on it. And yeah, they did this parody, and I did it, and I was kind of killed at it. And they asked me to do another one, and man, I found in like within a few months I switched my major. I was like, oh, I want to learn how to like do the filmmaking too. I love that shit, you know. I was Mr. watching films too many times. Do you hear these sirens? They're still coming, motherfuckers. Anyways, so I got into the film program, all right, where you learn how to do it. But also they had like one of the extracurricular, whatever you would call it, the students got together outside of class, and they had this like long-running sitcom that was made by the students. It was called The Show, MSU's The Show, with a capital W. Created by Greg Harrison and fucking Scott. Oh, God, I forget. Sorry, buddy. Man, I never met you guys, but, you know, we know. They made it like back in like 1988 or 89, and I was just like in love with the shit. And I like auditioned like outside, because like people acted on the show, and they weren't necessarily like film majors or whatever. You know, it was a lot of theater majors. I wasn't a theater major, but I auditioned to be like an actor, and I got on as like a secondary, like I would play random characters. I was not reoccurring. My freshman year, I wanted to be, baby. You know, they didn't have a new reoccurring shit yet. Sophomore year comes around, they got a slot open up. I'm a ladies' man. I'm the man. I look so handsome. They're like, he's a good-looking guy. Dude, I will say, motherfuckers, okay, I get it. Handsome, good-looking guy. Never had that perception of myself, okay? Never did. Never in the slightest. I mean, like, even in college, I literally, they cast as like the good looking guy, and I'm like, hey, you say that? Okay, I'll be the fucking handsome guy and shit. And I'm like, the girl's like supposed to be my girlfriend. I'm like, she is fucking hot. I'm like, all right, I'm handsome. Nope, I'll be handsome then. You gotta jump into the character. I don't know, because I was always silly guy. You don't think of silly guy being, I don't know, but if you can do both, you will take over this town, motherfucker. So I tried out for the character's name was Richard. He was like an asshole. Go figure. That's why I got it, and I got it, and that was kick ass. But man, I also I really fell in love with filmmaking there. You know, I got a good internet connection, so you can really watch movies and pump them out, and you know, start making short films and shit, and I don't know, just like learning as I go. Because dude, when you come from what I come from, I had no idea what editing software was. We didn't have editing. You know, I mean, I had a computer, but I played Monster Truck Madness on the motherfucker, okay? I thought it was goddamn magic in the editing software, which I think it still is, technically. I just know the control buttons. Fucking drag and keyframe, but that's just a little alien you're dragging around the motherfucking thing. Anywho. So I start learning the shit, and I start like, I don't know, I remember I got like a internship on campus. You know, I was doing a lot of drinking. I started smoking weed around that time, too. It was like, yeah, party Jordan, baby. Very important to cut loose, too. I didn't cut loose as much in high school. Cut loose in college. Maybe too hard. I don't know. Hard enough. So I'm acting. I was doing that shit. And then I guess just from talking to the people in my major, because, like, to my whole appeal is like, okay, I'll be, like, you know, in the movie, I want to act in the movies. I want to do the shit. I just had a general idea. I wanted to, like, make movies and act in them. But I figured if I was going to college for filmmaking, like, yeah, I'll for sure get a job that pays, you know, in it. Absolutely. So I won't have to do something that sucks. That's what I thought. I don't know. Production work fucking can suck at times, though. And then, so everyone around me was getting internships in New York or LA. So I was like, okay, I got to get something like that. And before I graduated, it would have been 2011. It was my junior year. I got an internship out here at some like small production company called Revolutionary Productions at the time. I don't know if they still exist or not. And it was like a small like production house. They like partied there too. It was kind of funny. But it was like me and like 12 other kids some of them were from around the country, a couple of them from around here. You know, I'm still in touch with some of them, but it was like, it's interesting. It was like we didn't really know what the internship was. You know, it wasn't anything formal thing. It was like, but what it ended up being is like this company, this guy, you know, that like made his own sort of short films, but he also did like commercial work. And he had a camera, he had a green screen, and you know, he knew all the fucking shit. And he wanted us to like learn it, and he like had us like sit down and like watch After Effects, how to do After Effects, or how to run the camera a little bit, or if you knew shit, you took off for it. And we basically did like free work for him. But we also got to make our own short films. That was like an assignment we all had. That was pretty dope, man. And it was like I write and direct a film, and other people are cast on it, and then other people, you know, like I do first AD shit on their shit, and that's cool. I made some fucking dope gangster movie. Dude, you had to like cast it on Actors Access and LA casting. It was fucking good. It was really good little film school intensive I went to over the summer, essentially. I don't know. I kind of had it out with the guy, because the guy would start like getting mad at people for being late or some shit, or fuck, and I'm like, dude, you're not like paying us, and like we are your crew for free, and it's cool, it's mutual, it's all, but it's like it was like a little settle down at times, and I think I almost caused mutiny on the way out, because I kind of convinced everyone. I was like, this guy's a little out of his mind. And they're like, nah, now that you say it, or I don't know. I don't even want to. The guy was nice. I have no idea if he's still in this town anymore. If he is, all love, brother. It was in Koreatown. The fucking internship was in Koreatown. It was 2011. So I go back to Michigan State. I start doing like way more like behind the camera type shit. I was still like acting on the show. I stayed a main cast member the whole time, but I started like directing some episodes, or like the final episode while I was there, and producing it. So I like produced the whole last year I was there. I was kind of like hot shot in charge, motherfucker. Or I just think no one else wanted to do it. That's why I got to do it. But I thought I was damn all right at it. Pretty good actually. So then it was LA time, baby. What do you do when you come out to Los Angeles? I don't know. What do you do? Man. I guess more importantly, that summer before I went back to MSU, I was listening to podcasts. Admittedly, I was listening to Joe Rogan Experiences, but I he's talking to comics, and they talked about the comedy clubs. I'm like, they're here in LA, like the Improv. I should go there. I'm here this summer. I think I'm Mr. Fucking Funny. I think I should go, And they're like, yeah, there's open mics, and I just love the lifestyle of what you talk to comics about. I guess that you were like, you were a performer, and like often, and you kind of just had to do your life and like live it, and you go around collecting material. You don't I don't know. I never do anything like, oh, I'm gonna get some material out of this. No, that's a hack way of living life. But, you live your life, and you do. That's how you collect the fucking... But I went down there to the Improv in 2011. Would have been June, because I'm coming up on 10 years. And you write your name, you put your name in a bucket. Or, I forget if it was that or if it was just a list. But they go up... Back then, they went upstairs for the mic, and they brought down a list. And they had it written down. Like, this was 1 through 15. This was 1 through 20, And so it wasn't like Matt, dude. Now when you go, it's fucking 100 people get there. They only give out 70 tickets, and you're in the bucket all night. It's different. Back then, there was only like 30 people that showed up. 20 of them got up. If you didn't get up, you probably got up the next. I don't know. So I went a few times while I was there. I went once. I think I signed up the first time I went. I think I was like, oh, maybe I won't. But I went, and I signed up, man. And I saw guys there that I still see today. I'm not like, we don't know each other super well. Different class, but I saw Jamar Neighbors back then. That was fucking cool. And Anya Malik. You guys know them? So I remember I signed up the first time, didn't get up, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Relief somewhat. Let me light this bitch. I go the next week. Mind you, I'm very stoned every time I go. This is 10 years ago, so Jordan was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Am I going to get up? Am I going to get on this motherfucking... What am I going to say? Am I going to be famous if I'm funny? Ah! And I go, and I got up like the second time I went, and went up with the fucking energy. I think I went up and I said some joke right off top, like, no, you're not at some Aaron Carter tribute concert right now. This is like pre-Bieber. I mean, maybe Bieber was fucking going, but it wasn't. To my eyes, Aaron Carter was the blonde ambition. Still, that I looked like, the younger market. So, I get up. I get a fucking laugh. It's 3 minutes. You get a fucking laugh. I might have kind of ran the light that blinked it at me. It was in the main stage back then. And they put me up like second or third. And I remember knowing at that time, I was like, that's good. Because people are ready. Like, I knew. And then I went up the next week and I signed up. And they put me on like 20th. And I was like, that makes sense. It's like they gave me a good spot. You gave me a bad spot. Not a bad spot, but I went up and no one laughed. I wasn't good. I was in a bad spot and I was bad and no one liked it. And that still happens all the time. And sometimes you go, I went up Saturday, threw some old jokes at him, and I was like, I'm fucking amazing, bitch, But even a couple months ago, I'm sure there was some place I went around here where I did a joke I knew worked and then no one laughed, and I was like, God, it is my fault. Somehow, for some reason, it is. But I was hooked on it, baby. Oh, and some manager tried to molest me that summer. definitely. I was definitely close to being in a child pedophile ring the summer of 2011. And god damn it, if I could go back and just give one more email out, I probably should have, because that could have gave me something. Robert Ace, AISS. If you've ever fucking come across this creep, he goes, it's A, not like an ass, but it's like a kiss. I don't know, fucking freaked me the fuck out. I bet about like at a party that was thrown at the internship that I was at, like, 'cause they threw parties too. It's kind of cool. And he said he noticed me from across the way. He's like, I noticed your movements, you know, because I was like in a good mood that night or whatever. And I'm believing this horse shit. I'm like, yeah, he does see that I'm a genius. He's like, I need to sign you. And then he like gave me a hug and he just grabbed me weird on the hip. And I very quickly said, no. Peace out, Girl Scout. He still had my number. He called. I kind of considered. I was like, he's a manager. No. Get the fuck. You creep a deep. Then I got to be Mr. fucking gets raped by ugly fat guys for the rest of my life. I can't do that. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Maybe if I knew it was going to be just once, but I'm pretty sure if you do it once, you got to keep doing it, man. It's like fucking Garth Brooks has to fucking... Well, I got friends in places where the whiskey drowns, and every loner loves this fucking song. I can't stop singing it, no matter how many concerts I do. He can never stop doing that one. I almost forgot what it was for a second, because I started thinking of his other hits. Is that damned old rodeo? Anyways. So I had the stand-up bug, man, and I don't know. I was pretty geared up in 2012, just knowing I was going to come out here and get into filmmaking and do a stand-up. But I didn't know how. I figured I would get like a job with a film production company. That's what I thought, and I could like do whatever for them, and eventually they would like make a film that I wanted. I guess, and I would maybe be in it or two, and I'm just going to do stand-up too, and. You know, I don't know. You don't know how the game works. And some people probably can't do that. I don't know. But what did I do? I came out. I got a job, because you got to have a job. Got to have a job. And I got a job doing, like, videography for lawyers, shooting their fucking depositions. So I was working a camera, but it was like, I started writing jokes and reading novels and shit. And I don't know. That was a fucking lame job. It wasn't lame. It was different, because it could be so boring, and then everybody's so disrespectful. But I hit the mics. That's what I did. I moved here, started doing stand up, man. And I wasn't in the mindset of trying to get an agent, because I guess I thought I'd kill it like 5 places and get an agent or something, or one would walk up to you the way creep. It was like Robert Ace, this creep fucking walked up to me guy. Someone will do it once they see how good I am. I still had only done 2 open mics. So, but, you know, I showed up. I remember I went to the Improv back there, and I was like, okay, I'll just keep going to this open mic, and eventually I'll do shit. And, you know, the open mic was like every Friday or every Tuesday. It was one of the, and that's not enough. You got to do stand-up every night. And then you're like, doing stand-up every night isn't enough. You got to do it stand-up like 3 times a night, every night. Forever, basically forever. I don't know. It goes away. But when you start going, you need to, if you want to really have any fucking sense of familiarity with it, and you always get unfamiliar with it, or at least I do, and you come back, and I don't know. But I remember I went to this place called Marty's, and Marty's you could pay $5, and it wasn't glamorous. Like you walk in and. You know, it's like the inside of an apartment. It was the inside of like an apartment, basically. And I was like, oh, this is where you can get time. And you basically do it to like 1 person, you know, which felt way different than doing it to 9 people at the Improv open mic. And then I found like, you know, we had a director, which we still did. I don't know. It's not really going with the pandemic and all that shit, but with the Comedy Bureau, the great Jake Kroger. Is that his name right? He's great. I better get his name right. Yeah, it's Jake Kroger. He runs it. He was a comic too. He does comedy. I've always seen him around. He's really nice. He runs a fucking directory, and it has like the day of listing. It's called the Comedy Bureau. So it's like if you're like, oh, open mics tonight? Yeah, there's 7. Here's this time. It's hosted by him. Here, it's a 1-item minimum. It's free. It's a lottery, pulling a name out of bucket. It's sign up, first come, first order, whatever. The parameters of the open mic. No dirty jokes, maybe. This is a feedback open mic. We're going to give feedback to you at the end of it. This is a mixed mic. It's half booked, half this. Music allowed, not allowed. This is... what other kind of shitty mics are there? They're all shitty. They're all good. It's all fun. Yeah, somebody at the Improv told me about the Comedy Bureau. And this is after I'd went to Marty's and shit, so I started looking at that, and then I went to Sal's open mic, and then I went Rock Paper, these places in Hollywood, and then, I was going to the Ha Ha Club, Comedy Club, and then, still stopped by the Improv open mic. The Improv open mic was kind of fucking down on the DL for a long time. It really was. It was sporadic. They're just everywhere, coffee, wherever, coffee shop, bar, they changed, I ran a shitty, open mic show. It was called B-Sides. It wasn't supposed to be glamorous. It was really my buddy, Mark Alexander. He ran it, and he asked me to co-host it. And that's part of the thing. So you get into comedy, you want to get on shows, and the shows are the fucking alt kid, the backyard shows, just like, this roof I had comedy at. So you put on your own show. We found a hole in the wall bar, the Lexington, which actually still exists, is still putting on comedy. Oh, God. And we'd book these fucking nerdy kids, and none of them liked me, dude. I remember, that summer beforehand when I came out here, I got some laughs. I didn't get some laughs the second time, but it was all good. And then I just, came out, and from the gate running, people just hated me. Just with you say hi to someone before the mic, and after you perform, they don't want to talk to you, and you go to see them at the next mic, they ain't gonna look at you, and you're like, because what I said on stage, I was kidding. You fucking, but whatever. More Wrens. I can't even call them sirens anymore. I just call them Wrens. Good Kylo Wrens. Everyone bombs once in a while, but yeah, people really didn't like it, and I would always dude, I'd blow up an open mic. I'd go up first because all these fucking pussy ass kids, you'd go, and they don't want to sign up first, so I would. What up, Ren? Nice. It's going to pick up my old manager's body. R.I.P. What was I saying about how I was better than these pussy ass fucking kids? They're all a bunch of fucking nerds, and you realize, and then you're like, oh, no one's booking anyone on talent. It's only friends. Because we would even book nerd kids on our fucking show, and they wouldn't book us back. They would come do the spot and be like, "Fuck you," back. You're like, "Fuck you," and you're not funny. And it was always kids that were so clearly didn't have to work a job during the day ever, and we're just it's always like that, I think it's supposed to be hard, right? It's gotta be. It's supposed to be stacked against you. It'd be fucking lame if I was Mr. Trust Fund Kid, I guess. Well, I don't know. That fucking got to me. And, after a while, you're just doing all these fucking mics. I mean, sometimes I was doing 5 or 6 a night, And don't get me wrong, I made a lot of friends that I still have to this day. Too many. Some of you motherfuckers need to quit calling me too many friends. Is my hair looking all right, motherfucker? I'm trying to brag on how ugly these kids are. Am I looking okay? Yeah, I made a lot of friends, man. I remember I met my buddy Ricciardi that I'm still friends with to this day, and he reignited the filmmaking in me a little bit because he had a film he wrote, and he didn't know anyone that knew how to direct really, or not a lot. And me and some people from MSU, we shot it and we made it, and ended up getting to a festival. Won Best Action Short at the NYC Chain Festival. So that was the shit, man. It was cool meeting people like him. 'Cause he was like, oh, he told vulgar jokes too. The kids kind of hate him too. This is nice. Oh, they also don't book you. Good, you know. And Rishi helped me a lot with my acting too, because Rishi he had gone to like Stella Adler in New York. He had studied the shit. He had studied the shit, man. And he had an agent, and he was auditioning for stuff, and he had like been on TV. You know, by the time I'd met him at least once or something, he'd booked like a co-star or something. So he was like, "Yeah, dude, this is how you like get an agent. You gotta like email a bunch of them. Your fucking, you know, headshot. Get a headshot. You gotta make up a resume and say, you know, try to get someone. You know. And meanwhile, you like sign up on these casting websites, because it's all websites, and you can self-submit yourself for student roles. And I did that too, man. I remember I did like a student film, a USC student film. I played the lead. They needed a kid to play guitar, man, and I rocked that. Oh man. That's another thing that kind of took me by surprise. I didn't. I've played guitar since I was 10 years old. Motherfucker, is this thing getting away from me? I played guitar since I was 10. At the end of college, I started like singing a little bit more, doing a little bit more like songwriting, I guess, about it. And when I came out here, one of my best friends to this day had already moved out here, Lauren LaGrasso. She acted on the show with me. She's always been like super fucking talented. She was like a theater major. She was like an actress for real. She outshined all of us on the show. And we had jammed like once in college, because she sang too. She's, you know, musical theater, but she, you know, singer. And we like jammed like Bruno Mars Grenade once in college. And then we came out here and I don't know. I think she's can be offbeat like me and just like less full of the bullshit. So we're like, yeah, we should get together and jam. I was like, you know, because I need a fucking singer for these shit, because I ain't Mr. Singer, okay? So I got a song or two. And dude, we made a little 2-part band. Oh, Jesus. It's like fucking dirt bikes on the road. So annoying. Anyways, we like made a little band which came out of nowhere. And while I was doing stand-up all that time, we played at like House of Blues, Hard Rock Cafe, the Viper Room, fucking like every oh shit, everywhere. For real though, bro, we played like everywhere, and I played guitar, and I was up there like singing, and like chicks thought it was hot as fuck, you know, and it was. I was cool. I am cool. And I couldn't believe that. I never thought of that. Like, even I don't know. It just takes you by surprise. But I did have to, like, back off the music a little bit, just because, man, I was, you know, when I do comedy, I was doing, like, every night, man. Like, every night. You don't really even have a social life. You know, you do, it's stand-up. It's really, I mean, you could just tell you need to get the reps in. You need to go out and just try and write as many jokes so you have this bank of material, so you can be like, motherfucking joke. But I had to back off of it, and me and Lauren, we still play together. I think if this pandemic ends, we might do more live performances than we have in recent years for sure, because we're definitely into jamming. But she wanted to follow it like full-fledged. Like, she had kind of dropped the acting thing. I think she was like, she had dealt with so much bullshit around here, understandably. So I was like, hey, man, take the fucking music lane, take our songs. You know, I can't be there with the time commitment. I got to put it here. And she totally understood, and she's still kicking ass with that. But so I did the stand-up. Man, it was one thing, because, like, you know, you go to so many shitty stand-up shows, and once in a while I would still play music with her, and it felt good, because it's like, you know, music, you don't need the audience telling you how good it is. You can kind of just feel that it's good, you know, and if someone else is there to enjoy it, good for them. Great for them. Great for everyone. But so that always felt good, because I'd been playing guitar for like 10 years before I moved out here, so it's like, oh, I'm good at this. That's why I knew I had to put so much time into the comedy, because I knew I did that for that too. So it's like, all right, you do this, you practice, you keep getting good, you got an knack for it here. Here's where you stretch it a little bit. Here's where you put more time, a little rest. You know, it's always like that. But man, then the acting. Dude, that's another thing. Come out here, I fucking iced the acting decently. Like, I was basically, there's Rishi just texted me actually on my phone. I pretty much just iced the acting. I was just doing stand-up, and it was like time to get back in, man. And in 2011, there was an acting class that I went to with that film production company I worked at. It was Jeremiah Comey's Art of Film Acting. Jeremiah Comey's class. He always met on Ventura Boulevard as long as I knew him. And dude, it was dope. He had fucking camera on camera. You worked across from a person and camera on your face doing a close-up, and you saw a screen of what it looked like. And it was all about, like, you know, this is for film. This is for, like, you know, the close-up. This is for being simple, doing less. And I remember the big thing that I just loved. I like, really made me fall in love with acting then. He's like, yo, you know, Brad Pitt's on screen. Motherfucker, it's Brad Pitt, okay? I know he's playing this dude or whatever, but it's him, okay? So he needs to be honest. You know, there's only so much bullshit you can do, you know, but you can act fucking sad, you can act fucking happy, you can relate, you can connect with the person across and have a real moment, and everything else is dressed up on you, and it, you know, it's pretty dope shit. But I hadn't acted really, I don't know, the first like 2-3 years that I got out here. I don't know. I guess I was waiting for Mr. Agent or whatever. So then I sent out some emails, try and get a motherfucking agent, baby. And I must have sent out like 50, you know. Back then, you find there's a book. There's a book at Samuel French Bookshop. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know I don't think the book exists. The fucking bookstore, I don't think exists anymore. And you just it was cool. It had a listing of everybody in town, all the agents, their emails and stuff. And it's their general email and shit, but you submit to a bunch. I got like 2 meetings, didn't know what the fuck I was doing, you know. You go in, and I had a headshot that like a friend took for me or 2, you know, with my camera even. That's how I did that. Didn't even, I did like 3. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I wasn't ready to spend some money on it necessarily. Met with the first place. I didn't have any improv training. I was like, I do stand up. They're like, we don't give a fuck. I met with the second guy, and he liked that I did stand up. He's like, yes, stand ups, they take risks. And he was the only one that was interested in me, so I went with it. And I don't know, it's cool. It's like auditioning for shows and little shows. Oh, and before that, you know, around that time that I was trying to get him, I'd went on a couple auditions on my own through self-submission on the casting websites. I did, and they didn't go good. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't realize that you could get the sides online before, that they were on there, and I remember going to some fucking shitty, like, toy commercial audition, and, like, you got to make up some song in there, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and they're like, get out. Bye. But, man, I had an agent. He was, like, sending me out for, like, fucking SAG commercials and fucking SAG, you know, TV shows and shit, and little 1-star, you know, one things, and then non-union stuff too, because I was non-union or whatever. It's like a union in the filmmaking for the real people. If you don't know, it's like, I don't know, you get paid a lot more if you're doing union work, and ultimately you want to be doing union work. All the fucking movies and everything and all the TV shows, it's all union, all that shit. But remember, I booked, not even through my agent, through self-submission, a self-tape that I'd fucking sent in. I booked this murder recreation show. You know those murder shows on TV where they recreate this unsolved mystery, or, you know, solved or whatever, and they have actors reenact the deaths and shit. I got to reenact the motherfucking homie that died, you know? I remember I told my agent, and he was like, oh, cool. And I was like, no, it's fucking crazy. And I think he was just like, he got no money out of it because I just submitted it myself, and it was non-union. You know, paid $125 a day, you know, which still, I mean, homie, I'll take 100. I would, but that was crazy, man. That was crazy. I remember I got to die in the water. We went to some lake out in San Dimas where Bill and Ted takes place, and recreated it like it was Texas, and I had to fucking act dead in the water and shit. And I was like on TV, and I was like, remember that aired. I thought it was the fucking shit, man. And I still do. But it was like, I don't know. You don't get paid a lot, but it's cool. It's cool. That was a win. I was like, dude, I'm like fucking on like TV. I'm like on the shit. And, by then I'd done stand-up at like all the clubs, but book show, bring your show, bullshit, whatever, But that was cool. Then it was time for the next level, baby. Then what else did I do? What else is going on in that world? I guess I went to that acting class. Like 4 years had gone by, basically. And I went to Jeremiah Comey's acting class, and that was cool, man. I liked that. And I like spent all of my like tax return money on it one year, like as soon as I got it. And then it ran out. And he still let me go like twice a week for pretty much the same price. And I told him, I was like, dude, sorry, man, I'm like out of money. I took this for like 3 months. I can't just keep it. He's like, I want you in class. And I dug that shit, man. That was cool. And then I did another one of those fucking murder shows too, man. I did. And, this is where it gets kind of wonky rough living, because before that time I was just doing stand-up and I'd work during the day, which kind of sucks as it is. But, man, when you're doing auditions and you're getting sent out, like, this audition just comes up like the night before, it's like, oh, tomorrow you got to be here. So you can't really like keep like a real job, So I started shifting to more gig work. And I was really fortunate that time. I had some production work from a little lady friend that I was dating at the time. One of my very good friends, her family, they both like produce like infomercials and little stuff, and her dad like produces like a little game show and little smaller production sets, but they hire me to be like PA and stuff or do whatever, and I was pretty good, man. I don't know they were flexible because they knew if I had like auditions I could take it off or whatever, and usually it's just random enough work days. It all worked out. So that was cool. And her dad fucking needed somebody to play like a kid on her kid's game show, like to be this like science fucking dude. And I was like, all right. And I mocked up this little audition tape because he said he was going to like come up, they were going to try casting this character. And they fucking loved it. They're like, yeah, you could do this. And I did it, dude. It was on Amazon Prime, and I was sick. I did like fucking like 12 episodes of that shit or something. That was cool. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, even at those moments, I was like, dude, I've done a lot of cool shit. Like, I'm doing the stand-up. It's like, but the tangible, like, the fact that I'm still getting up and I was driving Uber or Postmates, it gets at you. So, I feel like I've always been sort of waiting on the acting because it's the payment. You just hone your skills and you do it like this. I'm doing it. I love it. It is fun. Like, even if I was doing another job, I'd probably still want to fucking just do this shit. Yeah, I do. But, man, it gets real, like survivalist. And I booked my first badass job at the end of 2018. Because up until that time, I'd been on TV a few times. It was all non-union, man. I did one commercial, which was union. I got a couple of residuals out of that, some painmatters.com shit. Some random I don't even know how to describe the commercial that I did. Am I sitting on a fucking splinter? I literally am. That's all right. Then I went out for that show, Young Sheldon. And I had auditioned for it like once or twice before, too. I remember that. And, yeah, dude, I just went in. It was like one line for the audition, too. And I think I didn't even use a Southern accent whenever you need a Southern accent on the show. And I think looking back at the audition, I didn't use the Southern accent. I don't know. Yeah, it was just, come on, Jason, kick his ass. And I just went in, just say it. It really tried to fucking get out of my head about how I was going to say it, too. I was at that moment, too, where I was trying to be like, show up, look pretty, fucking do it. I got it. And it was like, you cry when you get something like that. When you're fucking, driving as much Uber as I am. For sure, man. So that was cool. And it was just one line, dude. I went on this big set, and I'm like, here's the big start. And, yeah, it would have been December 2018 or whatever. Probably been my first work day. And, dude, I get on this motherfucking set. I don't mind telling the story. It's kind of cool. Just one line, basically, but it's like me and some kids watching a fight. Mind you, I'm like 28 years old at this time, playing a 17, 16-year-old. And it's just one line. It's just me rooting on. Come on, Jason, kick his ass. But I'm fucking in because I love watching fights. I love using a southern accent. I'm down with motherfucking whatever, okay? And while it's going, I'm just, come on, he don't want it. Feed him a knuckle sandwich. Tell him what time it is. I'm just fucking like, just hitting it with one after the other. Like, I don't know. They found it funny. The camera guy thought it was hilarious. He came up to me and he's like, that is really funny. And it was, I don't know. They found it to be funny that I was improvising, fucking watching a high schooler get his ass beat, as I should. And the same day I had booked that, I also booked a Lifetime movie playing a high school bully. And I'm like, oh, this is just my thing, which is pretty cool. Was not a bully in high school. You might even say I'd been bullied a time or two in high school, okay? I wasn't some pussy by the end of high school. Beginning of high school, maybe, but, So I had the Lifetime movie and the fucking deal. And I was like, in the Lifetime movie, it was non-union, so it wasn't crazy money, but it's crazy. It's going to be on TV. Like, that movie's on all the fucking time. It's like on maybe tonight on the Lifetime channel. Seriously. My mom watches that shit all the fucking time. So I have that job. And after that shoot day, it was just one day, one character, one line. They fucking called me back for a second time on Young Sheldon because they wanted me to play a character. They're like, yeah, we got this this bully character. They go, we just want you to keep playing him and do this thing. It's just like another short thing. And I was like, fucking all right, I don't know. And I had like a bigger scene where I snatched the fucking letter out of homie that plays Montana Jordan, his name, really cool guy. Snatched the letter out of his hand, and I don't know, dude. Like, you feel electric. You're like, I'm at Warner Brothers, motherfucker. It's like I've seen these flats, since I was in college, the way they do shit, but this is a well-oiled machine. Everyone be on their best behavior, show up on fucking time, show up at like 5 a.m. and I don't know, dude. Fucking thrill. Like, I fucking loved that shit. And I definitely felt like the shit doing it, too. And it pays good. Still sends a little check once in a while. And then I was like kind of living the fucking life. I remember I was like chilling for a week. What happened? Something happened with money. I don't know what happened. I think I might have made a bunch of money from a settlement. Oh, yeah. I got in a car crash. I got a few grand or so. So I was like, I'm going to be chilling, and I just booked this thing. And I went to see like Aquaman, and I was by myself. My agent texted me in the middle of it. He's like, yo, call me. And they wanted me to come back for another fucking third one. So I did another fucking third one-line episode. Bullshit. But that's where it ended with Young Sheldon so far. I'm so fucking happy it happened. For a minute there, I did think, though, I was like, am I just going to be on the show forever? Like, I don't know. I could have maybe. I don't know. They could still call me back. I don't know. Probably not. The characters probably moved on. It's a big Young Sheldon. I don't know. The point is, I felt cool. Still feel cool. Still a big old fucking accomplishment. But, man, even then, I was like, there's a limit to that. Because those were just one-day jobs each. And, I was still in an acting class throughout a lot of time. I went to this other lady, Joy Rinaldi, because my other guy, Jerry, retired. And I was still doing stand-up with all this shit, just open mics, and that was that. I mean, that was last year was 2019 going into the shit. And, but shit, I don't know, that was a big thing for me. So I got a manager after that. And then very quickly, my manager wanted me to get a new agent. That's the way it goes. Which was, I don't know, it's time. Man, I love my old agent. It was all good. But I don't know. I'm happy with my new one that I went to. I guess I'm getting a new one. Or maybe, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I'm trying not to stress about it too much. It's probably okay. But, yeah, I was back, like, last year. I was doing open mics. Basically, I thought I would start getting booked on a lot more shows, like comedy shows. I don't think people comedy scene, they're so dumb. Like people, I don't know, I'd be going up to people that would talk to you like you ain't shit. Like I remember one guy was trying to give me advice on how to get on TV. So I'm open micer, and I was like, bro. And my friend Jared Levin was like, yo, he was just on TV like 3 times this year. What are you fucking talking about? And you're like, yeah, you're trying to talk with idiot doofuses who have no, like, you're just idiots, you know. That's what you're dealing with. But I got a manager. Manager got me a new agent. Had a meeting with a new agency or whatever, and I've been kick ass. And dude, I booked something like right away too. I'd signed with them. I'd been with them for a month. Last December, you know, a year ago of 2019 it would have been. That month I booked Goldberg's, another fucking co-star. And man, that's good. That's a good trajectory, you know. Still looking for, you know, the thing is you want to be a series regular, you know, because then you're working the whole season, and you're given a considerable amount of money where you don't have to fucking work a day job. Put it that way, you know. And if you don't get some trust fund to fall back on, you gotta kind of keep always working until you get a steady job or some, you know, ginormous fucking movie or some shit. But even then, you know, you need to consistently, you build a name, so you're working. And even with stand-up, that's why, and I still feel that way, and I know that. I'm like, well, you know, I got a credit or two. I can go to comedy clubs, and I can start, you know, getting stage time, and then eventually getting paid at those. So it builds up over time, and, you know, you get your films and make your own shit, because I've still been filmmaking all this time. But, yeah, man, this time a year ago, I was auditioning for, like, series regular shit, like, you know, like Varsity Blues. They're remaking that, and Saved by the Bell, they remade that. I auditioned for that. I didn't get them. I don't know if they ended up making Varsity Blues or not, but those are the recognized one. And a bunch of other, like, pilots. But I was auditioning for, like, series regular shit, and, you know, shelling out, like, $60 for audition coaching and shit, you know, which I don't know if it works or not. It's something. I don't know. I was taking UCB. I took the fucking improv classes that the original agents years ago didn't want me because they hadn't taken. So I took them, you know. That's where I am, man. That's where I am. I'm here. It's fucking beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm getting ready to move, though. Moving out of this apartment, man. I'm going to go to Phoenix. I'm going to go to Phoenix, do a little stand-up for a minute, and then, God, I've lived everywhere in L.A., and although this particular roof is so fucking sick and dope, the little cube I live in, and all the murder happening on all these streets, and the human feces around here, I think I might look for a different apartment, you know. So I'm gonna take a month and go see if I can do a little stand up. Still got the acting class or whatever. Still doing it and still auditioning. You know, it's all self tapes now, which it was shifting too. But I don't know. It's hard telling. I have friends and even me. You know, I've been auditioning for shit too, but it's hard telling what the future is gonna be because, you know, traditionally January would be like you're auditioning like 2 or 3 times a week for like life-changing roles possibly, so you just put it all in, and it's kind of is and it's not that, and people are wondering if LA is going to be the place, or I don't know whether LA's place or not. I like it. I dig it, man. I dig the sunset. I still want to live at my fucking Lebowski shack in Venice, and I love the hikes. I love all the shit, but I don't know. This is the 10-year mark coming up on, this summer will be like 10 years of LA sort of for me. In a way, 10 years, first time I did stand-up. So it's a maca. It is a maca of sorts. That's my Mark Maron episode, man. I don't know if there's much else to say about it. Something's gonna happen, man. You know?
Hey, you ever see it says a 41-year-old passes away? No one passes away at age 41, bro. You'll pass away. You might get fucking, like, your head blown off away, you know, or you might get coked away. You might get, you know, speedballed away. No one, oh, he passed away. Like, just tell me it was drugs. Just because until you do, I'm going to assume he got fucked by a horse to death, okay? I'm gonna come up with all sorts of shit in my head. Passed away. Oh, what do they not want to talk about? What do they?